Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're going to take a look at Groudon again, but this time around we're going to have a different fast move. We're going to run a Dragon Tail. And I was curious if this is going to be better, and we see already in the first matchup why this might be better. We're going to see the insane amount of damage that we can do against Dragon-type Pokemon with Dragon Tail in the Open Great League. It is absolutely wild, and you know what's also absolutely wild? I went positive with this team. I went positive with the Shadow Groudon in the Open Great League, which is kind of mad. I did not really expect it. Of course, here we have the perfect matchup for us. We were able to realign, we were able to get the shield back, and we're also going to be able to align our Annihilape against both the Vigoroth as well as the opponent's Lantern, and we can keep away our Mantine against the Lantern. This game is still not really over because Mantine is going to be weak against basically both of the remaining Pokemon, as also Rockslide would be super effective. But as you can see here, Annihilape is just so great in this current meta. Honestly, most likely the best Pokemon, most likely the best Pokemon as Haze-Up at least, for this current meta, I feel like. But yeah, we're gonna see here the Night Slash coming through, going to be able to knock out soon the opponent's Vigoroth. They're still trying their best. I know why they go for a Body Slam here as well, which you're going to see now. Don't know, but we can win this first game and we can move on to the second one. So, I made a poll on YouTube asking what you want to see next, and this was what won basically. Groudon was the Pokemon that won. Otherwise, there were some other options as well. Shadow Pidgeot I can still take a look at as well in the future. There is also, I built my Shadow Bastion now finally, and also I have some more rank 1 teams and some more legend teams I can go through. So, a lot to come on this channel as well. So, if you enjoy this type of videos, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. We are pushing to those 75,000 subscribers, so would really appreciate it. That's also all for my self-advertisement there, but let's move on into the battles again. We're going to have the Annihilape here going for a Night Slash. We're going to be in a little bit of a tough spot here against the opponent's Skarmory, as we will be able to go for a Fire Punch still with our Groudon. It's still going to be a little bit of a tough one. We saw the Gallade in the lead before, where we did a ton of damage with our Dragon Tail, but here we kind of have to hope that we can still reach another Fire Punch in time, and that they don't have something like a Lantern in the back, which would be a little bit annoying, but maybe they don't, maybe they do. We will find out shortly. We can still swap out into our Mantine, and they are not going to be able to reach a Brave Bird in time. I can still go for the Ice Beam. I was waiting for our turn here as well, and this is going to be great as he can now knock them out, and they have a Lantern in the back. Literally, the only Pokemon I really did not want to see there. I was expecting something like a Whiscash, but it is what it is. Next opponent, we're going to have a very bad lead, and we have a fairly bad Say-Stop as well. We don't run Ice Punch, but the opponent doesn't know it, so Night Slash is the way to go. And so we will be able to reach even another one in time, and this will force the opponent to use even another shield, which is going to be great, because otherwise we would be able to realign. And now they can go for the full farm down, but look at Groudon. Groudon will take another charge move here, but I made a mistake because I went straight into my Groudon. And as you can see here, the switch clock is not up yet, and so the opponent can farm me all the way down. I could have avoided this if I waited out a little bit longer with my Groudon. I guess I just was a little bit too excited to get into that matchup. But it is what it is. We're going to see here the Icy Wind coming through, and we're still going to have a great matchup here. They're going to have the Clodsire in the back, and I am so happy that I did not shield the Icy Wind. I was thinking about it, but here at the end of the day, it's going to be the better move to not shield the Icy Wind and rather shield the opponent's Stone Edge. Basically, every Clodsire is running Stone Edge right now, and so we have 2 shields for this, and we're going to try to go for that immediately. At this point though, I'm not really sure if they're going to outspeed me with a Stone Edge, just because they generate energy a little bit faster and takes the same amount of energy than Ice Beam. And so here I just decided to go straight for my Ice Beam because we're debuffed. I don't think an Aerial Ace would be enough damage, so I decided to go straight for the Ice Beam, hoping that I can still win against the Poliwrath here, but it is going to be a very, very close matchup. We gotta go for the Aerial Ace, but it's going to be a CMP tie. And can we still take a move here? We can, but we're double debuffed now. Is the Aerial Ace enough to knock out the opponent's Poliwrath? Let's find out here. It is, and we can win the game. Moving on, and we're going to see a Skarmory in the lead. Not really ideal, but also not the worst, and they swap out into the Groudon. And this is going to be a very decent matchup for us. We're going to let the first move go through. It's going to be a Crunch, or the Trailblaze is going to be the Crunch here, which is going to be a little bit more annoying, I would say, because they're gonna get there a little bit faster, and it can be a little bit more tricky. But we're gonna get the attack buff here, and this is going to be very important. That's going to shift quite a bit. This is also the only reason why I decided to use a shield here, otherwise I would have let the move go through. But like this, we can pressure that Skarmory way, way easier. And so we're gonna go for the Night Slash slash bait again, because I can go for double Night Slash, which also would knock them out. But here, you're gonna try to go for a CMP tie, which does work out as well for us, allowing us to reach another Night Slash here, going to do a ton of damage against the opponent. I can let the move go through, and I can just hope that my Groudon and my Mantine can win this game for me. Let's see what they're going to have in the back. They're going to still stay in here with the Skarmory, but I can reach the Fire Punch in time. And we will see here now that this is going to be able to knock them out. And they're going to have a Gustlord in the back. Look at the damage that we do against them. We can still even reach another Fire Punch, which will most likely force a shield as they only have one Pokemon left. And so we are basically free to just go for one Ice Beam with our Mantine, which is going to be amazing. And it's going to be a super effective move. And again, Groudon actually did quite some decent work in this matchup. And so we will be able to just use a shield here with our Mantine. In comes the Dragon Claw. We can go for the Ice Beam, and this is going to be a good game. Nothing the opponent can do anymore, and we can move on to the next opponent. Moving on, let's see what they're going to run. They're going to have a Ninetales in the lead. This can be a little bit of an awkward one because we cannot swap out. And like honestly, if we had a Mudshot here, this would have been a really great matchup for me in the beginning, because Mudshot plus the Fire Punch damage would have done a lot to them. Here, I decided to go into my Annihilate against the opponent's Poliwrath. Yes, Mantine in theory would be better for this matchup, but I know that I kind of need to get rid of my Annihilate if they have a Charm user there. I kind of don't really want to have my Annihilate aligned against the Ninetales when like it really matters here. But here we can just go ahead and try to bait a potential Shadow Ball by going for 2 extra fast moves. Let's see if this is going to work out. It does work out, and with this we can even reach another charge move here with our Groudon. Fire Punch is coming through, going to get the final shield from the opponent. Now it's down to our Mantine to win this game. We will be able to use a shield here, and I'm going to overfarm by quite a bit as well, for the reason if they have a Gligar in the back, we would be able to outspeed them to an Ice Beam, even if we go for this Aerial Ace now, which would be kind of important for me. But we have to see what they're going to have in the back now. As they decide to go for their last charge move here as well for the Weather Ball, they're out of energy now, and they decide to swap out. It's going to be a Whiscash in the back. This is going to be great for us, but it's still not going to be over for us either, because the opponent's still going to be able to reach the Scald. Scald is going to be neutral against us. So we kind of want to try to maybe catch a Scald. Would this not be great? I think it would be great. And so also Groudon thinks this would be great. And so we will be able to catch that Scald, doing no damage against our Mantine at all. And so we can reach another charge move here. But this game is still not over. Why? Because they can reach another Scald now. And so if they're gonna get a debuff, this might be a little bit tricky for us, and they do get the debuff, and they can swap out. But we can farm them down, still have 1 HP left, and they're going to forfeit the game. Next opponent, again another Charmer in the lead. Not really ideal for us at all, but it's going to be a Wigglytuff, which we can still try to go for some, I guess, Precipice Blade damage here. They're going to use a shield anyway, but I only get to 1 charge move, so why not go for that one? Sadly, it does not land against the opponent, and so we have to go into our Mantine, of course. And I kind of misplay this game, I have to say. We're gonna go for the Icy Wind, which is totally fine here. Icy Wind is totally okay for me. I can just go ahead and go for my own charge move here. It's going to be the Aerial Ace. Honestly, I thought it would do way more damage. I know we're debuffed or whatever, but I thought it would still do way more damage than it actually did here. And so I thought, no, if the opponent still needs a fast move, I would be able to farm them down with my Annihilate. But they don't. They already have a charge move stored here, and so they're gonna go for the Icy Wind. They have a Feraligatr, and I don't really have to play this game anymore. Next opponent, Horrible Lead. You're gonna see later on a game where they swapped out with the Empoleon basically in the lead. That's why I stayed in and tried to go for Dragon Tail first. Like, there was a game that's coming up. Like, all games I played, by the way, with this team is going to be in this video. There's nothing cut out at all. But yeah, there was going to be a game where they also run Empoleon in the lead, and they decided to swap out immediately, and I was swapping into my Annihilate immediately, and this was giving me a bad matchup, but we're gonna see it later on. So that's why I decided to stay in for a little bit in the beginning. Does not really help us. Here I thought I might be able to get to another charge move with my Annihilate as well, so using the shield did not really make too much sense either. But I can farm them down here, but they have the Empoleon still there, which can be a little bit of a tricky one, but maybe we have still a chance if the opponent has something in the back that is a very weak against Mantine. Like, if they have something like a Gligar in the back, we still actually have a chance, and I'm kind of playing for this. So what I mean with this, I cannot try to overfarm my quite a bit, so like if they're gonna swap into their Gligar if they have this, I would still be able to go for the Ice Beam in time, which would be very important. But as you can see here, Aerial Ace is going to hit against a Dragonair. If they didn't catch this move but caught an Ice Beam, I think we would have been in a great spot right now, but this is really bad for us. So I have to hope that they're going to use a shield here, which they actually do, and I have to hope they can knock them out with my Groudon still, but we sadly cannot survive enough fast moves, so we're going to lose this one. Next opponent, this was actually the first battle that I did with this team. We're going to encounter a Lantern. I was like, great, Spark, going to be double resisted. Of course, the first Lantern that I encounter is running Water Gun, which basically makes it a core breaker for this team because I lose with both my Mantine as well as with my Groudon with this. This was the first battle that I battled and was like, what are the chances? This is the first Water Gun Lantern I have seen in like years, basically. Like nobody is running Water Gun anymore at least. And it's completely hardwalling my team now, which I was like, great. First game, already starting super well. But yeah, we can still try our best here at least. We can still get some shields against the opponent's Gligar, but there is actually something interesting coming up here with this battle, which you're going to see very soon. I decided to let this next move go through. I would be able to outspeed them to the next charge move, but I was like rather getting some energy on my Annihilate. And we're going to see something very interesting coming up here very soon, because the opponent is going to go for the Aerial Ace, and they decide to go ahead and catch the next move. If I went for a Shadow Ball here and they didn't catch the move at the exact time, I would have been actually able to most likely still win this game. Or like at least I had a very decent chance of winning this game. Like this, I don't, but I feel like there was definitely a chance of winning this game if I went for the Shadow Ball instead. But it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. Here, this was mostly the game, well, I mean, exactly. Here, the opponent had the Empoleon in the lead already, which would have been great for us to have our Annihilate against, of course. But they decided to swap out into the Whiscash immediately, which is a little bit awkward, because we have the Mantine in the back. Mantine would have loved this matchup, literally completely a hard-walling Whiscash. That's why we also have the Mantine in the back, because our lead is very weak to Whiscash. And yeah, it was kind of annoying, but we still will be able to get an attack boost here. And this attack boost is coming in clutch now, because we can go for a Night Slash against the opponent's Quagsire here, which is going to be not connecting. It's going to get a shield here from the opponent, so we can try to swap out into our Mantine to catch a move. It's going to be, of course, that Mud Bomb, which is going to be amazing for us. But they're also going to run always Stone Edge. Like, they're always having Stone Edge on this Pokemon. There's no reason to run this one without the Stone Edge. And so I knew about this, but I kind of did not really want to use a shield, because I need the shield for my Annihilate in order to deal with the Empoleon. This is basically the only way of me dealing with this Empoleon, is with the counter of my Annihilate. But it's very good that we get 2 Aerial Aces in, because this actually puts them into range where we can just counter them down before they can get to a second charge move afterwards, which is going to be great. So counterdown is happening right now, and because this is going to be a Shadow Groudon video, of course, we're going to swap out and farm them down with the Dragon Tail. Final battle for today, Whiscash in the lead. Not ideal, but we can swap out and maybe we can align ourselves later on as well. So, we can go into our Annihilate, we have to try to go for some Shadow Ball damage against them. They decide to go for a Scald, and I decide to actually use a shield here, because it is going to be kind of nice to keep our Annihilate healthy, but they're going to get the debuff immediately. And I was kind of annoyed by this, because it's going to change the matchup quite a bit, because now they can survive this move, which they would have not really survived otherwise. But I can at least still reach another Shadow Ball against the Charger Bug. And so they decide to use a shield, and it's still going to be kind of an open game so far. So we're going to let this move go through. It's going to be a discharge. We can still survive it with like 1 HP, which is very important. And I can store here 1 charge move, which is going to be very great for me as well. And so I swap out into my Groudon. I should be able to survive 1 exercise at least with this huge beast, but let's see. We can still reach that Fire Punch in time. That's going to take a knockout against them as well, which is going to be very important, as this is going to be now in the back the Lickitung, and we can still reach a Fire Punch. This is going to be great. Maybe we can get a shield from this as well now, because we are Shadow on the Groudon. We don't, but we do a ton of damage actually. And so Lickitung is at half health. I decided to use a shield here because they very likely go for a Power Whip, which is going to do a little bit more damage in total. And so we're going to still be in a position where we can win. Issue is, we have our Annihilate with a charge move, but Annihilate is exactly at 1 HP. So if I swap it into my Lickitung, or like into the opponent's Lickitung, it will not get the move off. So what I have to hope is that the opponent swaps into their Whiscash here, which is going to be great, but I also have to hope that they decide to use a shield against my charge move, because what this kind of allows us to do is we're going to be able to swap out without needing a turn with like after a charge move here, which is really important, because like this we can still get this move off before they get any damage onto me. And I can still let this one go through. I win CMP tie, and this is going to be important because they had a Body Slam stored, and Mantine can win the final game. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.